deal here where I can shoot the ether in it. This is my baby I found in a junkyard in Buckeye, Arizona about 3 years ago. And I'd spent about 3 years trying to find it. A guy had been telling me about this real long-nose K-model International with a great big 6-cylinder gas engine in it with two barrel carburetors on it. And I couldn't imagine what it could be because I'd never heard of a KB12. And finally, after he gave me good enough directions, I found it and took some pictures of it, and it had the big Continental gas engine in it, the 200 horse Continental. A few of them came with 165 Cummins in them, but this one had the Continental. So after we got it home and we decided it was the truck that we was going to concentrate on, I'd been building an NHRS 300 Cummins for a few years and had it about ready to put in a truck, so we finished it up quick, and with feeler gauges and Vaseline we stuffed it in under this hood. And of course there's not much room for a big radiator in the front, so we recorded the radiator, and then I put a second radiator behind the cab with 3 fans on it. And I split the water, and half of it goes to each radiator.
Okay, try again.
There's the radiator. It's a low flow, cross flow Cummins radiator. And it does a good job. I turn the fans on when I need them, you know, which isn't very often. And then inside we lowered the floor down. These had a riser in them and just a bench seat, and I knew that I couldn't handle that. So we cut the floor down, put a pair of Bolstrom air rides in it. And the old steering wheel here I'd had hanging around on the wall for about 15 years beside my easy chair. So me and the steering wheel's pretty familiar, so I decided this was a truck it ought to go on. And behind the big supercharged engine I got a 13-speed Road Ranger and the old original 3-speed Brown Light transfer case and a 2-speed rear end with high gears in it. So that gives me a total of 78 gears. And in high gear, 78th gear, at 1500 RPM, I'm running 70 mile an hour, so it's just about right for today's traffic. And that was my idea in building this truck, was to build one like someone would have done in about 1952. Dolled it up like they would have with a pair of stacks on it, and put the ultimate state-of-the-art engine in 1952 in it. So that's what I ended up with, so I could run with a load on behind it and run with the other trucks out on the highway and not be holding them up. I would drive it to truck shows all over the country. We just finished it in May, and I've been to the East Coast once and to the West Coast twice with it, and I'm going to Palmdale, California next week and drag it in quarter-mile truck drags in Palmdale, California. You can see we named her the Other Woman because this is the one I spent all the time with and all the money on for about 1.5 years. And here you can see pretty much that the engine compartment is just absolutely full. There's no room left anywhere. It fit really tight in there. You can see it's got the Ellis dually manifolds on it, dual exhaust manifolds, aftermarket manifolds like some of the guys ran back in the early 50s on these engines. So it has a stacked exhaust sound like some of the trucks did in the 50s. I run them open all the way across the country. Everywhere I go I run them open, except right here in my own hometown I have to close them up because they don't want any noise. We borrowed the alternator off a D9 Cat, and we got an aftermarket mount on there. The bottom mount's an aftermarket mount, and then I made the top, the part that actually ties it down. I designed that and put it on there. We didn't want it to get away from us, that's for sure. You can see the wheels and tires we went with what they would have done in the early 50s to doll the truck up. They're the first generation Alcoa 5-hand hole Alcoas with 22-inch 1022 rubber on it. The trailer is a unique trailer. It's a 52 Trailmobile. It's a truck transport trailer. Just like my car transport trailer is for hauling cars, this trailer was designed expressly for what I'm using it for hauling trucks. It's got grooves built in it from back to front. A blind man could load 2 trucks on it and tie them down in about 15 minutes. It's got 20 winches built in. You don't have to carry any chains or any binders to tie it down. You just run the trucks on and hook the appropriate chains that are already built in the trailer up to the axles of the truck and pull them down with the winches, and you're ready to go. It also has a very unique automatic landing gear on it, which was patented by Gustav Fruhoff back in right after the turn of the century. I've seen a 1919 trailer of theirs that had this on it, and I suppose Trailmobile built this trailer with that patented landing gear under license of Fruhoff, so they could do it. It works really well. It's just a good invention. Wonderful little town. When we go to town, this is where we come. But it is a nightmare for long rigs. The length limit up here is 50 feet, and they watch it really close, and they got a real hefty fine if you try to come through here with a rig that's over 50 feet. And it's not hard to see why. You can't hardly keep it on your side of the road if you're longer than 50 feet.